Let me begin the description of the experiment by giving you a high-level overview of what happens. So think of this as the timeline of the experiment. And during the first 10 minutes, as we saw before, so this is the first 10 minutes, this is the login process, where all of the students in the course will log in into the lab website. Now, at 1:10 precisely, the experiment will start, and at the time you start the experiment, you will have an account with a balance of $100 on experimental money. During the experiment, a bunch of things are going to happen, and you're going to trade. And that's how you make money, by trading, following some details that I will describe to you during the rest of this pre-lab. The key thing is, after all of that trading has taken place, and you either make or lose money, you're going to finish with an account again that has some money, and let's call that the final balance. You add to that balance either by making good trades or subtract by making bad trades. At the end of that time, your total earnings for the experiment are going to be given by your final balance minus the balance that you started with, which is the $100. You can think of this as the profits that you made during the trading. Now, let's talk more about the structure of the trading session. Basically, the experiment has 6 identical rounds of trading. Let me call them round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, and round 6. These are identical. These are 5-minute trading rounds followed by a 1-minute wait period, and that happens every round. Now let's describe in detail what happens in every trading round. So let me draw the timeline of a trading round like that, where the first part is a trading period and this is the wait period between rounds. Now, every round, you start the round with an initial cash balance, or dollars, and you also start the round with a token endowment for the round. So the computer system that I will describe in a second is going to tell you how many tokens you have in that round that you can trade with. Now, during the round, during the 5 minutes of the trading period, so this is a trading period that lasts for 5 minutes, you're going to be able to trade with others for tokens and cash. So you will be able to either buy or sell tokens for cash. At this time, you will end, when the market closes 5 minutes later, you will end, if this was the initial token endowment, you will end up with a final token level, final amount of tokens that you own given your trades at the end of the experiment, and also a final cash level. Now, notice that the final cash level may be different than the initial cash level, as is the token level. Why? Because as you trade, you will either add or subtract both to your token account and to your cash account. The key thing is that, and this is very important, the tokens are valuable to you because you can exchange them during this period for money. So during this period, you can exchange tokens for money. In some sense, the tokens are like a promise to pay you money during the waiting periods. And in fact, your final balance here, your final cash balance at that time, at the end of the round, is going to be equal to your final cash level, this, plus the value for tokens, the value that you have per token, times your final token level. So let me give you an example. Let's suppose that you start with $100. You start with no tokens, but during this period you buy one token for $10. Then your final token level is 1. Your final cash level is 90 because you have to pay for that token. And your final cash balance after the exchange is going to be equal to 90 plus your value times 1. Okay? Now, several additional details that you need to know about the structure of these trading rounds. Number 1, you will learn the value of your tokens, or the value per token, for each round only at the beginning of the round. So when the market opens that round, you will know what the value per token is for that round. And you may want to keep in mind that this value per token is for you. Other people may have different values. So this is your value, and you will only know your value. Second, at the end, when you exchange per token, you can exchange at most 1. So if you end up having 10 tokens because you bought 10 tokens, tokens 2 to 10 are worthless. This is the value for the first token, but no other tokens have value. Now, number 3, what is the link across rounds? This final cash level, let's say for round T, becomes the initial cash value for round T plus 1. And the final cash level at the final round, sorry, the final cash balance here at the final round, that becomes your final cash level at the end of the experiment. Finally, the tokens only last for a round. So you should think of the market that opens every round as having a completely new set of tokens. Once you have cashed them, in other words, the tokens disappear. And your initial endowment per tokens will only be revealed to you at the beginning of each round. So some rounds you may have some tokens, other rounds you may have none. Now, what determines your grade for the participation in the lab? At the end of the final trading run of the experiment, you will have, you can compute your total earnings for the experiment, which, to remind you, are your final cash level. That is the amount of cash that you have after you have exchanged the tokens in the final round for money, minus the initial balance, which is $100. And again, think of this as the total profits from the experiment. Okay? Now, what we're going to have is we're going to take all of the students in the course, and we are going to divide them, the total earnings, into 4 quartiles. The top 25%, the bottom 25%, the 25th to 50th percentile, and the 50th to 75th percentile, from top to bottom. Students in this quartile will get 2 points for the lab. Students in this quartile will get 1.5 points. Here they will get 1 point, and here they will get 0.5 points. Now, the only way you can get 0 tokens, or sorry, 0 points, is if you don't participate.